Hello, good morning. Thank you, Chairperson, for your kind invitation, for your kind introduction. I would like to thank IMISCON and the organizers of Bhopal for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, Dr. Hina, for setting the ball for postmenopausal bleeding. And I take it forward with discussing especially on endometrial polyps, which is one of the most commonest reason of postmenopausal bleeding also. So if we go to the statistics, the prevalence, the study shows that approximately 10% of postmenopausal women experience vaginal bleeding, with around 90% of the cases which attribute to benign causes, one of them being polyps. Endometrial polyps are very common, usually benign, cause of postmenopausal bleeding, occurring due to a localized growth in the uterine lining. While most of them are non-cancerous, we can see 1 to 2% of them turning out to be malignant too. So what are the risk factors for endometrial polyps? There could be hormonal factors where there is increased unopposed estrogen levels which stimulate inner polyp growth. Menopausal status is also one of it which causes the high risk. Obesity, being overweight or obese, significantly increases the risk as the fatty tissue produces extra estrogen. Medication, sometimes with tamoxifen, you see breast cancer survivors, they could lead to endometrial polyps. Comorbidities is also being seen with hypertension, diabetes, which are linked. And age prevalence, we ideally see between the age of 40 to 60 years, and some genetic factor could also be the cause of endometrial polyp. As we know, the main diagnostic methods, we have three ways. The best, the initial is the ultrasound, where a little advanced we can go is with saline infusion hysterogram. On ultrasound is basically the first line. It is non-invasive imaging tests which detect polyps. We can do a 3D, 4D scan also, which gives a better image with color Doppler. Adding color gives us a better idea. Second is saline infusion, where sterile saline is injected into the uterus during the ultrasound, and it creates a clearer picture that there is something inside the uterine cavity. But the gold standard always remains a hysteroscopy, where it is for diagnosis and therapeutic cause, and where we insert a camera and a polyp is very nicely seen inside the endometrial cavity, confirming the diagnosis. Management depends on what status the woman is. We can divide it into premenopausal and postmenopausal women. If the woman is asymptomatic with a single endometrial polyp, less than 2 centimeters, no high risk for endometrial cancer, we can put her up on a follow-up status because she has no symptoms, or else even sometimes the hormonal therapy might help. But in cases of infertility, abnormal uterine bleedings, symptomatic women, yes, hysteroscopic polypectomy remains the gold standard. In postmenopausal women with abnormal uterine bleedings, multiple endometrial polyps, risk factor for endometrial carcinoma, we go straight away for hysteroscopic polypectomy for evaluation and treatment. In asymptomatic postmenopausal women with a single polyp, more than 1 centimeter, anything within the big thing, we again go for hysteroscopic polypectomy. With less than 1 centimeter, no risk factors, no high risk for endometrial carcinoma, you might consider to have a follow-up. But again, anything seen, you might, if she is fit for surgery, we would like to put in a scope and remove the polyp. So these are few videos which I would like to show. One which is a large polyp, you can see in my first video, is it? No, it's not playing. वो उधर चल रहा था, इधर क्यों नहीं चल रहा? दोनों चालू कर सकते हो ये पेज के. Okay. Yeah. So you can see first is that the hysteroscope, you can start both. दोनों side वाला भी चालू कर सकते हो. Yeah. So you can see in both my videos is in the first one you can see a big endometrial polyp which is almost covering the whole, it's lying in the whole uterine cavity. You need to first evaluate the whole uterine cavity and see to it and then do the hysteroscopic polypectomy. In the second one, you could see multiple polyps. So you could see 2, 3 of them together. So these are the different hysteroscopic findings which we see on the hysteroscope. As, okay, no, abhi chalu hua dono, okay. So we will discuss a little bit of hysteroscopic polypectomy. So where it's a diagnostic and a therapeutic, we saw that the hysteroscope gone inside the uterine cavity. We first monitor, we evaluate the full endometrial cavity. We check for the bilateral ostia. We see where is the pedicle, how it impacted the polyp is. And we have multiple ways of removing this big polyp. You could use a scissor. You can use even the resectoscope, whatever is your expertise, what you are confident with. Hysteroscopic polypectomy with the scissor is very easy. It's a much safer thing. You can just use normal saline for it, and it's more safer, like complications post hysteroscopy are much lesser. Yes, but resectoscope also gives you a better outcome with it. Secondly, we have to start cutting from the base of the polyp. Completely, we keep on seeing the scissors, as you can see, is well inside the picture. We have to focus where both the blades are of your scissors so that you are not causing any damage to the cavity. Once it is seen that completely the polyp is being detached, you can ideally remove the polyp with ovum forceps or with a hysteroscopic the removal. You have the forceps of the hysteroscope also, where you can catch hold, stop down your saline, and you can remove the whole hysteroscope together along with the endometrial polyp. Secondly, after removal also, we can always inspect it. You think you can do a gentle curettage also after doing the hysteroscopic polypectomy. Anything which is removed always goes for examination. So to rule out any malignancy, as we already have discussed, most of them are always benign. But yes, we do have 1 to 3% which can turn into malignancy. So therefore, every checkup of any tissue removed has to be done. So as Dr. Hina Popat said, postmenopausal bleeding is never normal. So a proper evaluation is always required, and a prompt diagnosis and management needs to be offered. We do sometimes keep them on follow-up, but yes, any postmenopausal bleeding, hysteroscopic is a key thing where you need to actually see what is there inside the cavity. Thank you so much.